What is up, guys? Hope you are all doing well today. Today I took a very small loss. I mean, it was break-even trade, but it was still a loss because of like spreads and whatnot. So I'm down like $12 on the day. Um, it was a really great setup. It's unfortunate that I was break-even, but it is what it is. I'm still green on the week, so I'm grateful for that. And yeah, I'll go into like essentially what I was thinking going into the day, what my bias was, all that jazz, and why I took the trade. So going into the day, I was leaning more bullish because we had an SMT with this low right here. So Nasdaq didn't sweep this low while ES did. There's a pretty giant Gigantinosaurus SMT right here. So then my draw would be this unfilled 1 hour gap right here. So that was my bias going into the morning, right? And then for extra confirmation, we had this 30-minute inverse right here that triggered at like 8:30. So I saw that and I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna look for some type of confirmation setup on the lower time frames and take it up to here. I ended up not taking any longs just because I didn't really see anything I liked. It got really choppy at open. We had this long right here, which I think did work out. It looks like, yeah, it did work out, but this was so choppy. I wanted to be better safe than sorry than to trade whatever this is. And then we also had news at 9:45. We had PMI. So that's why I didn't want to take this one either because it was like 5 minutes right before news. So news happened. This ended up working out. Took us all the way up to this. I believe it was a 5 minute high. Yeah, this 5 minute high right here that NASDAQ swept, but ES didn't. So we put in another SMT, but a bearish one right here. And then we had this 1 minute inverse to the downside. I didn't take this one because I wasn't sure if we were like market was going to play games here and inverse this and then instantly come back and manipulate this high. So I wanted to wait for extra confirmation. Specifically, I was looking at this gap right here because in my head I was like, okay, if this gap inverses, then we most probably will not go back up and manipulate this high, right? Because if we were to manipulate this high, we'd tap into this gap, then come all the way back up and then sweep this. So so that aligned well with this 3 minute gap, which is the trade I took. Boom, right there. So there were a few things I did, or there's really one thing I did wrong was I set my stop loss a bit wrong. I had it at a 50-point stop when it should have been about 40 points. Or actually, it should have been like 30. Yeah, I had such a wide stop, so and I had the intention of scaling around equilibrium of this range. But since I had such a wide stop, it would have been negative R to do so. So I was like, okay, I'll just hold until there was this unfilled 2 minute gap right here. So I was like, I'm gonna hold until this 2 minute gap. And what ended up happening is price came down and edged the TP and then came back up and then stopped me at break even because I want break even as soon as we swept this internal high. Right? Which it is what it is. I should have just sized or yeah, I should have sized better in terms of no, I should have set my stop loss better, I'm sorry. Like right here. So it should have been a 30-point stop and I could have scaled out at 50% of this range at 1.2 R, and then it would have just been a zero point 0.5 R trade. But it's fine. It it is what it is. It's a break even trade. You live and you learn, right? But yeah, I mean, pretty much. There's really nothing else to say. I've been trading really well. I think I've been just following my rules, trading in alignment with the higher time frame, aligning narrative with all my trades, and it's been going pretty well. We're on the week after losing 4 trades in a row last week due to like pattern trading, not trading with alignment of the higher time frame and not waiting for price to retrace the discount. I don't know if I stated that in another video, but one of the biggest reasons why I failed a lot with inverses is I would always take inverses that were way too high in premium or way too low in discount without waiting for price to trade back to equilibrium. Equilibrium is like really important, like from what I've seen. Because price always gravitates towards there, and the best setups come from equilibrium. But yeah, other than that, I mean that's really it, guys. I hope you learned something from this little trade recap. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next one.